Here's the mindful man reading another chapter of Dream, which has got lots of twists and turns. Then everything went black, very black. Jack opened his eyes and he expected to be in heaven, but there were no angels in sight. All he could see were skyscrapers shining in the sun, standing before him like monuments to the gods. Slowly, the sound of car horns blaring and the sound of the city brought him back to reality. The sound of a coin rattling in a cup startled him, and he was surprised to find that the coins were for him. He was a vagrant. He had shoes with holes in them, battered jeans, and a t-shirt with stains. He rose to his feet and took in his surroundings. He could smell his clothing. All around him there was imposing skyscrapers and high buildings. They made him feel so small. After 5 minutes of wandering around, he began to get hungry. He had no money and no way of getting any unless he begged, and that was something he wasn't going to do yet. He sat outside a McDonald's and watched people devouring burgers with relish, and his stomach rumbled like a subway train. There was a bin nearby, and he swallowed his pride and he had a rummage. To the incredulity of the passers-by, Jack found a bag of French fries and a half-eaten burger. But he didn't care. He was that hungry. It was still warm, and he devoured it and worked his way through the French fries. They were salty and delicious. He'd struck gold. It was great eating out in the sunshine, he thought, but the sun was getting a little too hot and he needed some shade and water desperately. He passed a fountain and he gladly scooped up the wonderfully cold water into his mouth. When he felt full and refreshed, he sat down on a park bench and watched the people passing him by. Children with balloons were licking ice creams and laughing and smiling without a care in the world. A carousel turned round and round like a kaleidoscope in the sun. Jack drank his Coca-Cola through a straw and he began to feel content with the world. It was then that he noticed a shady-looking character dressed in a blue suit. He appeared smart, but there was an angry, suspicious look hiding beneath his smile. He was standing too close to the parent with children. He had his hands in his pockets and he was whistling to himself, a sure sign of mischief. Jack sat up and he took more notice. To his horror, he saw the man expertly pluck a wallet from the back of the man's trousers, and he placed it deftly and invisibly into the folds of his jacket. It went by in the blink of a rat's eye. It was obvious he was a professional thief. Then he moved on to his next victim. Jack wasn't sure what to do, but he knew he couldn't sit back and let it happen again. He decided to follow him, even in his tramp clothes. The thief began walking briskly away from the scene of his crime with his bounty. Jack jumped off the bench and kept a few steps behind. He had morals and he knew that he wasn't going to let him get away with stealing someone else's wallet. He watched the man mingle with the crowds. It looked respectable, but he clearly was not.